For 6 decades, Kenya has been at the forefront of diplomacy, advocating for mutual respect, dialogue, and unity on the global stage. This has been to the benefit of our citizens as Kenya undertakes its role of a global citizen. Shortly after independence, in 1963, Kenya embarked on a journey to establish herself as a sovereign state and assert her independence on the global stage. Kenya did this by opening its first 6 missions in 1964. These were in Peking then, which is now currently Beijing, Moscow, then it was the USSR and now Russia. Then we have London, we have Bonn in Germany, Cairo in Egypt, New York for the United Nations, and Paris in France. From this humble beginning, Kenya today has 68 missions spread across the world, championing for the country's interests. These comprise 29 missions in Africa, 16 missions in the Asia and Middle East, 14 in Europe, 5 in Americas, and 1 in the Oceania. This diplomatic footprint also includes our offices in the United Nations capitals of Nairobi, New York, Geneva, and Paris. As a founding member of the Organization of African Unity, now the African Union, Kenya continues to champion African unity, economic integration, and peace. Over the years, Kenya has participated in 43, and I really want to emphasize that, 43 peacekeeping and peace support missions, including Yugoslavia, Cambodia, Iran, East Timor, Western Sahara, Sierra Leone, Liberia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia, South Sudan, and more recently, Haiti. This demonstrates our commitment to regional and global stability. Kenya's election to the United Nations Security Council in 2021 for a 3rd time, mara ya tatu, justifies its capacity to shape global governance and advance Africa's voice in multilateral diplomacy. We do not take this for granted. Kenya has played a pivotal role as the global environmental capital. Since 1972, we have hosted the United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP, global headquarters. Today, Kenya is home to one of the largest UN duty stations, hosting approximately 20,000 staff operating under the umbrella of the United Nations office in Nairobi. This population of UN staff is set to increase in 2025 as many staff relocate to Nairobi as part of the UN Greater Reforms Plan. The UN has also made significant investments in the country, and as a country, we will soon have a venue that can host a United Nations General Assembly. This is huge and transformative for our country. It is expected that the investment could be close to $400 million US. You will recall that Kenya hosted historic events such as the Third World Conference on Women in 1985, the United Nations Environmental Assembly in 2021, and the inaugural Africa Climate Summit in 2023. These and many others have solidified the country's position as a global hub for diplomacy, international trade, and investment.
The manner in which the current draft of our foreign policy has been developed over the last 6 months has been very consultative. So we have had meetings with at least 12 major groupings of citizens, ranging from academia, health workers, trade unionists, and a couple of other stakeholders, including parliamentarians. And we have been able to get so many views and perspectives, about the kind of foreign policy that we should have. And so the ultimate document that will be launched on the 2nd is going to be a document that reflects the broad perspectives of Kenyans and truly captures their aspirations. But beyond the launch, our intention is to use the words of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, to take this to mashinani. We intend to undertake county dissemination forums, county dialogue forums on the policy. Secondly, we intend to translate the policy to Swahili, and we will have quite a number of media engagements around the policy, explaining different facets of it so that Wananchi can be able to appreciate what the policy is about. Kenya and France enjoys a very robust and positive relationship. As a matter of fact, I think you must have seen that yesterday President Ruto was hosting the State Minister for Francophonie and International Partnerships of France, at which it was announced this partnership around education. Basically, a 35 million euro facility of the French government to support the engineering department of the University of Nairobi in the area of artificial intelligence, so that Kenya's leadership in the area of tech can be sustained. And so the expectations of Kenya with regard to our hosting of the French Africa Summit in March 2026 is that we will be able to showcase how this partnership with France has meant not just to Kenya, but to many African countries. Our expectations would be that these would be an opportunity for people also, especially Africans, and particularly even from the Anglophone Africa, to understand what Paris's new thinking is with regard to critical hot button issues, whether it's climate, whether it's the conversation around global governance, particularly the reform of the international financial and security architecture, whether it's issues of tech, whether it's issues of migration, amongst others. And so this conference that will bring together Francophone Africa, and Paris, will enable us then to have a very robust conversation, and what we hope is that there will also be huge opportunities for investment. We already have quite some French investment in the country. We'd like to crowd in additional investment from France.
This December, the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs will mark the 60th anniversary of Kenya's diplomatic journey. This will be a commemoration of Kenya's enduring legacy in peacekeeping, regional leadership, and global diplomacy over these 6 decades. The celebrations will run from November 27th to December 7th, 2024, and will feature a series of activities. In the first instance, the ministry will have its inaugural open day on the 29th of November at the ministry's headquarters car park. That is where we are. We invite members of the public to participate and learn more about the services offered by the ministry. The following week, we expect to host various conferences speaking to diplomacy and foreign policy. These events will be open to the public, and we expect that His Excellency, the Head of State, President William Ruto, who is diplomat number one, to preside over some of the planned activities. There will also be exhibitions open to the public where various partners and organizations will showcase the services that they have rendered to the country over the 60 years. These exhibitions are a great learning opportunity for us who believe that Kenya is not an island. I am sure that there will be plenty of knowledge sharing and excitement. These public events provide an opportunity for all of us to understand the scope of diplomacy as practiced by our foreign service officers. We truly want to make this a foreign affairs machinani week. They will also enable the public to participate, to appreciate the role the citizen plays in the articulation of the country's foreign policy. Further, these events provide a great opportunity for interactions between citizens and the various practitioners of diplomacy. Let me highlight just a few of the events. First, as I have indicated, 29th November is the Ministerial Open Day and public engagement at the Ministry's headquarters showcasing departmental activities. On December 2nd, that will be the formal opening ceremony where His Excellency the President will address the nation on these matters at the KICC. We shall then have an exhibition running at KICC, Comesa grounds, from 2nd to 4th. On 3rd December, we will have a tree planting activity at the Ngong Road Forest, and that will be followed by private sector dialogues at KICC. On December 4th, we shall have the Diaspora Conference. Discussions on Kenya's contributions to, on the diaspora the diaspora's contribution to Kenya's development will feature very, very prominently in this conversation. Then we have the diplomatic conference roundtables scheduled for December 5th at the University of Nairobi, exploring Kenya's foreign policy evolution, peace initiatives, and youth diplomacy. Historical unveiling of, this is on the 6th of December, we shall launch the Foreign Service Academy as a semi-autonomous government agency, and a historical photo gallery will be opened at Uhuru Gardens. The grand finale will be on December 7th in Eldoret, where there is the Eldoret Run for Education cross-country. This is domiciled where we get the top cream of our athletes in that region, but it will be also inviting other Kenyans to participate in this cross-country race. If all goes well, we believe it may be flagged off by His Excellency, the President. Our foreign diplomacy is driven by these good people that you see here. They have been strong, they have been candid, and they have helped in many different ways to profile Kenya to the position that it is today. And they're also mentoring younger people to take up and move forward. So it is important that we appreciate that. I remember coming across some message of somebody who felled a big tree And when he struck, he just started getting excited and saying, "Can you see I have felled this big tree?" What he forgot is that there was an axe, and there were other people who held that axe, and they kept on striking at that tree. And then he came at the tail end, and it fell, and he thought he's the one who had done it. That is not true. We are building on the foundation of very many great men and women who have been with us, who have worked, who have toiled, and as far as we know, we will continue, and there'll be others to come and continue to move. The other one is the famous shaking bridge, the suspended bridge. There was an occasion the mouse was waiting at the end of the bridge, and the elephant came, and the mouse jumped onto the tail of the elephant and said, "Can we cross together?" because it was scared to cross. So the elephant said, "Come on board, let's go." And they crossed, and because it was a swaying bridge, a floating bridge, as it swayed, they got to the other side, and the mouse told the elephant, when they got to the other side, it was so happy telling the people, "Did you see how I and the elephant swayed the bridge?" So I'm bringing about these proverbs just to tell you that in all this, it's collective effort. And we should not in any way try and downplay anybody's contribution. We are all together, and Kenya's foreign policy, and indeed Kenya's development, must move as a collective, with all of us pulling together, including you. Because without you, nobody will know what our foreign policy is. So we really need you also as members of the Fourth Estate to help us articulate and convey the correct messages. So we are partners. We are conjoined at the hip. We are together on this one. But thank you so much, and we look forward to you helping us get Kenyans to appreciate and understand our foreign policy as we celebrate the 60th anniversary of this journey. Asante sana.